Oh man, I thought I had my settings all set and ready to go, and here I am just looking like an idiot on the screen. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I guess you can. No, I can tell for sure. Anyway, hello and welcome. It's Friday. You ain't got no job, you ain't got no money, and you ain't got stuff to do. No, that's from a movie. Hopefully you got a job. Hopefully you got some money, and hopefully you have stuff to do. What's going on, Rob N95? How y'all doing? I just want to do a random live stream here Friday. So come hang out. We'll talk, we'll chat. You can ask questions and maybe I'll answer them. Who knows? I was not prepared, clearly, but that's all right. What up? What's going on, Richard? Arbin, what is crack-a-lackin'? Move this. It's like super intense. Greetings from Germany. Yo, what's up from Germany? How's it going there in the Germany? Love the hat. I love the hat too. Like this, the hat has become a staple for sure. Captain America, what is cracking? Why? Oh my goodness. Sorry. All right. I don't have anything specific to talk about today. I was gonna try to prepare something to talk about while I was gonna let my little live stream like intro run, but I didn't have a chance to do that. So today it's AMA. What's up? Anybody do anything fun and exciting this week? Let's start there. Last week, I'll tell a story because last week, here, let's tell a story because since I'm in a good state of mind currently, feeling good today. We're live streaming, things are going well, right? Last week I went to Washington D.C. I traveled for the first time since 2019 to go talk at a conference, and we talked about. Well, as part of a panel, 3 people were on this panel. We each told a story about something related to cybersecurity. I talked about going on the physical penetration test, and again, three people each told a story. At the end, everybody voted. I ended up winning the talk, winning the vote, whatever, because I told the best story, which was really awesome. Like I felt really great about that. But this talk was at like 8:50 in the morning, and I was done by like 8:45. And even though like the talk went great, like I felt really good about the talk even prior to like winning the talk or whatever. Immediately after it was over, I was just done. I was like checked out. Like I had enough social interaction and dealt with enough people at that point that I was supposed to leave the following day. This was last Thursday. So last Friday, I was supposed to be coming back home. Instead, I just went back to my hotel room, booked a flight back on Thursday night just so I could come home, just so my anxiety wasn't going to be just like bothering the heck out of me the whole time. Like, yeah, I think everybody sees the happy-go-lucky social media front, right? Like, if you are posting anything on social media other than your best life, you are doing social media wrong, right? Like, isn't that how it goes? You always have to be posting your best life on social media, which I am quite guilty of. I think a lot of us are. We always want to share our victories, but we never tend to share our hardships, the things that we have a hard time with. And one of the things that I definitely had a hard time with last week was being hundreds of miles away from home after not traveling for multiple years and just dealing with too many people that I was just completely uncomfortable. My anxiety was like through the roof. It was terrible. So yeah, even though things like look like they went wonderful and amazing, like if you looked on any of my social media channels, you would have saw that I posted pictures of me up on the stage and all that fun stuff. But ultimately, like, oh my gosh, just thinking about it makes my anxiety, like makes my heart beat because it's not a it was a good time, but it was also not a good time. That makes sense. So yeah, like I spent a bunch of extra money just to come home like a few like basically like 16 hours earlier than I was supposed to. That's enough for my story because somebody just asked Bend Over. That's a classic name right there. What do I think about the Flipper Zero? I actually just bought a Flipper Zero today. So does that does that give you any idea of what I think of the Flipper Zero? I actually just ordered a Flipper Zero and a one of those. I can't even think of the name of the wallet now. And I just spent like $100 on a stupid wallet because everybody was recommending it. I got to go look on my Amazon purchases. What is the name of this stupid wallet? Gosh darn it. I'm looking at my orders right now. The Ridge wallet. That's what we got. So I got that and the Flipper Zero because the plan is I'll try to copy one of my like RFID cards and then we'll also try to like put that card inside of this Ridge wallet and we'll try to copy it then and see if it works. You know, like that's like maybe a quick, easy test of multiple things there. But yeah, I'm excited for the Flipper Zero. I did see that Flipper Zero got banned on PayPal, which is unfortunate. PayPal is that's a very unique organization, right? And I can't necessarily bash PayPal because I've literally had an account with PayPal since 2002, probably. Since PayPal was like first a thing before it was ever acquired by eBay. I've never in my life, knock on wood, this is probably fake wood, but I've never in my life had a problem with PayPal ever. So it's always unfortunate to hear when people have issues with PayPal. I'm looking sickly. Am I dying? I hope I'm not dying. I mean, I am dying because we're all dying, right? Every single day we're getting closer to death, right? That's I made that very sad statement sound not so that was just terrible for me to say. You I'm not dying. I'm doing wonderful actually. But thank you for being concerned. Brandon Bowman, what is up, boss? How are you doing? DA, I lost weight. Yes, I did lose weight. Bend Over, they block all the hacking videos too and on GitHub. I mean, that's not surprising. $1.3 million blocked because of Russia. Yeah, I mean, well, I can't really speak to that because I don't follow all of that stuff necessarily. I know that they got the boot from the PayPal, which again is very unfortunate. But I mean, PayPal can do their own thing and dictate how they do revenue in whatever way they want. I'm not one to criticize necessarily. Like I said, I've never had a problem with them, and I don't know enough about the story to really provide enough feedback either. It sucks. I wish they wouldn't have gotten the boot from PayPal. That's a lot of dollars. What was that movie with Justin Timberlake and the clock on the arm? Alpha Dog? Is that what you're talking about? I think it was it Alpha Dog? If it wasn't Alpha Dog, that was still a fantastic movie, and Justin Timberlake was in that movie, and he actually did a phenomenal job in that movie. BTW. And it's actually based on a true story too. What's going on, the bearded IT dad? What about Uber? What do you want to talk about Uber and the hack? I mean, we could talk about Uber and the hack, but it sounds like it should be like a kid story. Uber and the hack. Somebody should do that. I got something in my shoe and it's driving me nuts. I think it might be in my sock though. Sorry, it's bothering me. Honestly, like anytime like these hacks happens, like what could you possibly say looking at the situation after it's happened, right? Like, and that's what like everybody's gonna do right now. Well, you should have done this, and well, it's because you did this, and this is why blah 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 blah, and XYZ, and yeah. It's a crappy situation for basically everybody who's involved at Uber, right? And it's a crappy situation for the person who ultimately like was the person behind all of this happening, right? Like I feel incredibly bad for that people. I feel incredibly bad for their security team. Um it just goes to show you, like, again and again, that, like, these things can happen to anybody, right? It does not matter, like, who you are, how many millions or billions of dollars you make. These types of things can happen to anybody, and I think that's just a reality. And I think trying to toss blame or trying to, like, criticize or theorize even, like, any of this is just silly because ultimately, like, at the end of the day, like, this is going to happen to anybody or it can happen to anybody. That's not like a scare tactic by any means, and a lot of people take statements like that as a scare tactic. But I truly don't feel like it is. It's just these are the times that we live in, and these types of things are going to happen more and more and more. And what uh, w- where is like the blame always, where does that fall? Or where does the issue stem from the most? And how do these attacks happen most frequently? Like time and time again shows you it's your users. And I truly don't feel like enough time is spent educating users on, you know, specific attacks that could, or just in general. I don't think there's enough security awareness training. So potentially this could have been something that was avoided. It could have been avoided for the goobers, but that's also hard to say. Like it's so hard to to educate your users on all of the different things that they could potentially interact with in an organization. But this might be a great thing to add to security awareness training if somebody hasn't already, right? Is uh, how you can look at and examine targeted specific attacks, like what would happen with Uber or supposedly happened, which is like what like it was like SMS fatigue or something like that. Basically, they're trying to send an auth code to a mobile device, and you basically repeat that over and over and over and over again, and you're trying to contact that person to get them to release that off, like whatever MFA code is being sent over. This is a very terrible job trying to explain it. You should probably just read an article. I'm just trying to like summarize the best that I can. But ultimately, like you repeat this process over and over again, and your user just gets fatigued because their phone is constantly going off with these auth codes, with these MFA codes. Like it's just constantly being pinged, um, to get that to get you to do something with that auth code, essentially, right? Push notifications, yeah. So supposedly, what had happened is like this hacker contacted this user and said that they were with IT and that they needed that auth code. Like they said, if you want the messages to stop, you need to give me this auth code so that I can do whatever it is that I need to do. So ultimately, like it was just user fatigue. That hacker was constantly sending that user push notifications. Thank you, Brandon, um, for this code. And over time, like that user just finally was worn down and gave in and shared that whatever MFA code that was that ultimately granted access. I forgot what where they initially got their foothold, but that leads to multiple things, sometimes. Again, this is me just trying to very like dumb this down as much as I can because I don't want to go into all the details. I would need to pull up an article and read from the screen to give you guys like the accurate stuff. You guys should watch Jerry Auger. He can he probably explained this like so well. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of me talking about stuff. Do we have questions? I'm looking for questions. Richard Cyberpunk, what do you say? Do I think there are many 100% fully remote help desk positions, or do you need to be in the office for this type of role? I think there are help desk positions that are 100% remote for sure. Um, Nowadays, it's really hard to say like how many potentially there could be, like percentage wise. Like if you were to compare that to like an in office role, it just depends on those organizations, right? There's going to be tons of organizations where it's completely acceptable, feasible for you to have your help desk people be remote. There's some organizations where you have to have that one-on-one type of support, where meaning like that help desk person is able to physically go to a device or a user to help solve issues. I would say it probably leans more towards like on site than remote, but you're definitely going to find some remote help desk jobs. Even entry level jobs for IT say 2 years experience. What the heck? I know, it's terrible. In Time was the movie. I don't know if I saw that movie, Brandon, but if it was with Justin Timberlake, I'm sure I probably have, because I probably enjoy his acting just as much as I enjoy his music, which is a fair amount, I would say. Reading through questions, yo. Dude, what did I do to lose all the weight? I had gastric bypass surgeries and had like 80% of my stomach ripped from my body. So that and then my stomach is the size of like a banana. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. Because, yeah, now I lost a bunch of weight. JT is underrated as an actor. I feel like he's definitely underrated. But I love all of his stuff. He's so good. Mm. You've got a hot pizza in your trunk, Brandon. I'm so jealous. Am I taking questions on Twitch? Yeah, I'm taking questions from all over the place. There's a great Wiser video on MFA fatigue. Probably be worth checking out. You can't unjam a printer remotely. Oh, yeah. I would hate to be on help desk and be like trying to do printer support. I would just tell the users, just throw it out the window. Like literally just toss that thing. Hate printers. What is the best job in IT? The one that you enjoy the most. That is the best job in IT. That is the best answer to your question. How would you even rate like the best job in IT? I need to do a video on that, because that would be like the most clickbait video I've ever done in my life. Who is Brandon Bowman? Who is Mike Jones? He's the one and only. You can't clone him. Brandon Bowman, he's my homie. I love Brandon Bowman. DA, you have A plus and Net plus. What else can you do to get the first job? Another cert? You can start building out a home lab and documenting that process and getting some of that stuff on your resume, because it's fantastic. It's great for you. Get on the LinkedIn and start networking with people immediately. The certifications are helpful and all, but you need to get like people to start noticing you. LinkedIn definitely helps with that. People hate hearing that. I think it's been said so much recently in the past few years, but it really is a platform that can help your career for sure. Yeah. Meetups. Like go up to like meetup.com, find meetups in your area that are, focused on information technology and things like that. Go to those, connect with people. And like those are going to be the most helpful things. That start just applying for all of the help desk jobs or all of the entry level jobs that you see. Apply. When am I going on Security Unfiltered? You and Joe both have similar energy, great down to earth guys. I don't know. I have to get with. I think we're supposed to. Hang on. I'm so terrible at getting back to people, especially like on LinkedIn, just on social media in general. I freaking hate social media. Hang on. You just remind me I need to check my email for this. 9:20. Sure. Thank you for reminding me. So I turn off literally every single one of my notifications on my phone so that my phone doesn't like never goes off. So like that's all of my LinkedIn notifications, Facebook, Twitter, text messages, phone calls, emails. Like I just cannot do it anymore. So like it's hard for me to get back to people just because like always forget to like go and check messages. Yes, I'm supposed to be going on his show soon, Matt George. What's my opinion on data analysis? Uh, it depends. Like, what do you want to do? What are you asking for specifically? The brand manager hates social media. Now that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I completely 100% hate it. If it wasn't for my job, I would not be on social media. Me personally, like I would not be on social media. Social media is fantastic for business. Um, yeah, 100% of the way, but like, gosh, I do hate social media though. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I love my job. I just hate like part of the like part of what my job represents, if that makes sense. Probably not. Social media is toxic. It's really bad. So that's why like I turn off my notifications, and to me, like social media is just like an avenue for business at this point. Like business and memes. Like my Facebook is just memes. That's it. Because I think that like Facebook is the stupidest platform on earth. I am promoting a brand I believe in. This is not IT related. That's okay. How did you go about with your diet change? So after the surgery, like I was definitely very limited in a lot of the foods that I could eat, but I don't know, like I still don't have that hard of a time with it. Like I cannot eat more than like a McChicken. Like if you think about the size of a McChicken, I'm just at a point now where I can almost eat the whole thing minus like the bottom piece of bread because I don't eat the bottom piece of bread because there's too much bread. Yeah. I don't know. It's actually been really easy. I could still eat whatever, it's just, like, limited amounts. I didn't even recognize me? Oh, that's crazy. The analysis industry is future and online learning. I mean, data is everything, right? So, any type of job that you can do where you're gonna be working with data, analyzing data, building out data sets, just, researching, uh, the list could go on and on. Like, probably a good avenue to at least like focus some of your energy and some of your learning if that's something like you're interested in. I don't see jobs within those fields going away, right? There's a lot. I think there's going to be a lot. Yeah, just man. I hate this. I hate thinking about this stuff sometimes. It really makes my brain work. Thank you for breaking my brain right now. Anytime I think about data, I just think about like programming, and then I just think about like all the endless possibilities that can arise from that alone. Like just putting those two together. Yeah. Just like, and then that's just like Python. And I just think about Python. It's like, man, like there's just so much that you can do, and there's so much that you can learn. And like, you don't even have to like specialize or focus in any type of data analysis or things like that to really find use in like the tools and things that that you would learn within that field, I guess. But like, there's just so. Oh man, thank you. You broke my brain for this stream. Appreciate it. For the foreigners, check the Big Mac equivalent for the McChicken reference. John Doe, you don't like social media because of the tracking and the censorship. I mean, if you don't like tracking, You should probably just get off the internet in general. That'd be a great start. Craig, this is a great question. Any projects to work on that would look good for an entry-level hub desk job? You set up a basic Active Directory, but anything else? Active Directory is definitely going to be like the top one for sure. So continue to do things with Active Directory. I have a great series where I walk you through like setting up Active Directory, and then it gets to a point where I show you how to set up a PowerShell script to like mass import users within Active Directory. That'd be something to look up as well and to research. That'd be worth adding. But then also like ticketing systems. Definitely check out ticketing systems as well. And you can virtualize that very easily. Oh, this is an awesome question too. What advice do I provide to new candidates to break out of their social awkwardness for interviewing with hiring managers? Experience and time. Like, I don't think that there's a good I don't think that there's any good advice that anybody could give when it comes to specific situations like this, other than it's going to take time and experience, and you're having to do it like a few times. I look at every single interview that I've gone through, and I could literally like think back of every single interview that I've gone through in my life and pinpoint like the things that went bad. I'll always turn back to those things that like I feel like went bad. And every single interview after that, like I made sure not to make that same mistake again. Um, as far as like the social awkwardness when it comes to the interviewing too, like that's something I struggle with also, like huge introvert, right? Like um all for a long time, always. I still am, if like honestly, but again, I think like that comes with just time and experience. It's not something that like overnight is just going to click with you, or somebody's going to just give you like that one piece of advice and say, hey, like this is what you need to do going into an interview to like make you not feel that way. I just don't think that that's a thing. Excuse me, sorry. I think it should be reassuring to you that everybody feels that way and everybody like goes through that. Maybe not everybody, most people, especially like introverted people like us, probably most of the people working in IT, like there's a lot of social awkwardness. It's such a hard thing to learn, but it's like everything else, and like especially like when you're learning IT things, like the more that you do it, the better you become at it. So the only advice that I could have for you is to walk away from every experience with something that you learn from it that you can improve the next time. Like that's it. Like the social awkwardness is going to be there until you learn to develop ways to get around that, right? Like for me personally, like again, it took time, right? But it ultimately like got to a point, and I feel like maybe for some people you get to this point where you just stop caring, right? Like you almost know to an extent that you're probably going to do something or say something that's going to be awkward or just not appropriate for the situation just because you're uncomfortable. Um, and you almost have to prepare yourself for that ahead of time, knowing and understanding like, hey, I'm probably going to do something stupid in this interview or say something stupid in this interview, but it's all right. Like, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to keep going. The biggest advice that I guess that I could have for you is just to like try to like be as confident as you can, even if you screw up, even if you say something you think sounds stupid. Just be honest and try to be confident in what you're doing and the way that you're presenting yourself. And again, it's advice that it's words that are coming out of my mouth that almost mean nothing to you because you've probably already heard these types of things before, but like you'll refer back to these bits of advice every time you're trying to make an improvement in your interview process. I hope that's helpful, because honestly, like it's taking me so long to get over like social awkwardness and things like that. Like it's hard. It really is. It, if somebody a DA, if you were saying that's a great question, that really was a great question. Thank you, Shepard. Scrolling through questions also. You just started working with Spectrum as a field tech. How do you transition from that to networking, transfer departments on cybersecurity, change companies eventually? So you could reach out to your peers, your managers, directors, things like that. Ask them, directly how that process would look from their end, like internally. How do you go about transitioning? Sometimes it's just starting that conversation. Um, I've seen many times where you just open up that conversation saying, hey, I'm looking at transitioning to this side of the industry, or this side of the things that we're doing at this organization. What do I need to go about doing these things? And they might have very specific tasks or things that you can do to help with that. But other things that you can do outside, like you're a field tech, which is somewhat IT experience and can be considered in many ways IT experience. That's great. Continue to do that. Get some certifications that are going to align with networking, if that's what you're looking to make that first transfer to, or in security, because those are going to be helpful as well. Those are just going to help you get noticed a little bit more. But then, of course, getting on LinkedIn and networking and all those fun things as well. But initially, what I would do is ask internally what steps you can take to transition. And good luck to you. You're new to the channel. You watched a couple of my videos. You appreciate me sharing my knowledge and also unrelated IT. Want to congratulate me on the weight loss. Well, thank you. And good luck to you. Do I work in Silicon Valley? big? No. I work for a startup, not out of the Silicon Valley. Social awkwardness, please. What? If there is one thing I want to learn in the IT field, what would it be and why? Oh, that's a great question. Like one specific technology? Or what? I don't know. Like right now, currently, the thing that interests me the most is probably like web app pen testing. That's something that I've slowly been taking my time to learn more about. So I'll probably have to go with that, but it's been weeks. Literally, it's probably been like 3 weeks now since I've been able to sit down and go through any port swigger uh, courses or labs. So yeah, but that's probably it. That's what I'm personally interested in. Have you ever had my tattoos give you an issue getting a job or promotion in IT? I've had one organization tell me that I have to cover my tattoos. And that was like an engineering firm. That's the best way to describe them. That was the only organization out of the few, many, whatever you want to call it, that actually cared. But I've worked for school districts, multiple school districts. They did not care that I had tattoos. I worked for a hospital. They didn't care that I had any tattoos. So I don't think it was ever an issue, honestly. Is software engineering part of IT or a different part of technology? I mean, anything that like has an IP address is technology, right? And anything that relates to the things that have IP addresses is technology. I'm trying to like break this down into like basically like everything is technology. Gosh, and if you would have asked me when I was working in a school district, like how I would define technology, I would tell you literally anything that plugs into an outlet is technology. Because like anytime you go into a classroom, they'd be like, "Yo, my microwave over there is not working." I work in IT. They're like, "Yeah, but it plugs in." So like you know what to do. Like, the heck I do. You think I'm joking. I'm not joking. Not joking on that. TJ Wills, what's up, TJ? I'm a Silicon Valley big boy. I wish. Moistness 4. All right, then. This channel helped you with moving into IT almost 3 years ago. Now you work for DoD DHA. Congratulations to you. That's amazing. That's freaking crazy. What IT company do I work for? I work for a company called TCM Security. We do like security things. Clearly, because it's TCM Security. No, I'm just kidding. Being a smarty pants. We do penetration testing, and we also teach people how to become penetration testers. That's the cool part. That's the part that I care the most about, is the teaching people. Not that I don't care about like our consulting side, because our consulting side is really cool and we have some really amazing people on that side of the team, but I'm all about our academy and teaching people. Like, that is the fun stuff. Cannot even lie. Yeah. Ruby, you've been doing Burp Labs too? That's like, you are my people. Do I do cyber, or what part of IT do I do? I am a Zach of all trades, and that is literally the best way to describe what I do. So do I do cyber? Yeah, I do cyber. But I do lots of other things too. I wear multiple hats. Probably have more. Yes, I do. See? More hats. I wear multiple hats in my organization. This literally, I could not describe it any better than this example of multiple hats. Eddie P, you just passed your Security Plus. Congratulations. I'm super proud of you. That's always like a fun and exciting feeling, passing a certification. So congrats. Which IT department is the best to go for? Like, depends. That's such a hard question to answer. It's like, I don't know. There's like so many different organizations out there, and like so many of these different organizations have different types of IT departments, and they all do different things. And I don't know. What type of things do you want to be doing? That's the better question. Jeffrey, you are a security engineer and you just got your CCNA. Congratulations. You want to get better technical skills? Should you go for a Ccmp next or something else? Well, if you want to get better technical skills, I wouldn't go for the Ccmp. Like, what type of technical skills are you concerned with? You know, like what worries you in your skill set the most? Am I an app developer? And gosh, no. My official title is brand manager. My unofficial title is Zach of all trades. Did I go to college? I didn't even graduate high school. I dropped out of high school when I was 14, and I've been doing IT stuff since some of you were probably in the womb. Legitimately. Like 1999, I was building websites. So, I don't know. How many of you were born before 1999? I'm sure there's many more of you on this chat, this stream right now, that were born after 1999. Right? Like, literally 1999, I was 15. I would have been 14 years old, almost 15 years old was the first time I built a website. Do I remember phone freaking? I do. How old am I? I'm 38. Oh, Daniel, see, we were the same age. Oh, look, now you guys are all right. Some of you guys are old. Some of you're old like me. Thank goodness. It's Cyber Security Central. You said something here. Looking forward to seeing you in person and at Wild West Hacking Fest. Heck yeah. I'm super stoked for Wild West. 70s kid? Oh man. You're old. No, I'm just kidding. You're older than me? Perfect. Gosh. All right. I guess I was wrong. Sorry. Since I didn't graduate from high school, what inspired me to focus on keeping in IT? So, when I dropped out at 14, like right around that time, like literally like right after I dropped out was when we got a family computer. Like that was a thing back then. Like you got a family computer that like everybody shared, and we got AOL for the first time. So that was 1998. And we had computers before, but this was like the first time that like we were getting a computer just so that we could all get on the internet. We had like other computers for like business stuff because my parents ran a business, but um yeah, like that was the first time we got like the family computer. We got the AOL. Like that was the stuff. And when I dropped out at 14, which was like in an October-ish time of the year 1998, right around that time is when we got the internet, and like I just gravitated towards the internet because I wasn't going to school, I wasn't doing anything, like literally just sat at home on the computer. And that led to me meeting people on the internet that did things. I want to tell this story so bad. I'm going to tell this full story out one day, and make like a whole video about it because it's really good, I feel like. But I got involved with people who knew things about websites, and we built websites and things like that. And that's kind of like the initial foothold of me getting involved in things that were related to IT. Was I dropped out, got on the internet, and within the first year of me like getting on the internet was when I discovered like, hey, I could build websites, and that's kind of a cool thing. I'm really interested in that. And from there, like that's just what I did. So instead of going to high school, like I sat on my computer all day, every day, learning how to build websites. And I learned like internet marketing, search engine optimization, like, you know, that was 1999 until 2008. And in 2008 is when I made that transition over to the infrastructure side of IT. Because in 2008, like I was just literally sick of looking at code all day, looking at websites. Could not handle it. I freaking hated it. I was like, I really like working on computers. Like that's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. It's different. And I get to work with people. And I was starting to get more comfortable working with people. So I found that I wanted to be working with people more. And yeah, 2008 was like a huge transitioning year for me. But yeah, I been involved with the computers and the internets for a long time. So like the thing that I have always had going for me is that I've always been able to, even in like the early 2000s, is I've had websites, like personal websites, professional websites that I've built, and I've always been able to show people what I've been capable of doing. When I tell people to do this now, it's crazy that like it's still a thing that can help you. But like in the early 2000s, like that's how I was able to show any type of credibility for myself because of the fact that I dropped out of high school. I didn't go to college. I didn't get my GED until 2010, right? So like the only thing that I could do for me was say like, "Hey, I built all these websites, and this is the success that I've had with these websites, and these are the different things that I've built for these websites, and blah 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 blah." But like that's how I got my cred. And it was like something visible that, people could see. And with that was like building a network, right? And I still have connections with people from like 2000, 2001, 2002, people that I've was connected with back then, that where we all built websites together and we all networked that way. Still talk to those people, to this day, which is crazy. Yeah. Internet IRC, good old IRC days. Yeah, IRC, ICQ. But there was like the Yahoo messengers and the MSN messengers and AIM. AIM was my stuff, man. Anyway, yeah, to answer that question more, like just IT and technology in general has always been something that I've gravitated toward. It's always something that I've just had a very good understanding of. And I feel like I grew up with it, right? Like being 14 years old, like I got to experience so much of how like technology has developed in the last 20 plus years, right? Like 23 years. We've come so far, and I feel like I've been able to like get involved on the front lines of all of this, like especially with like how my current role where for TCM security as brand manager, like a lot of my job, the majority of my job falls around marketing. And that's where all of my previous experience building websites and learning, search engine optimization and internet marketing, like it's come like that, like this full circle of like I get to utilize all this past experience of like my marketing history and tie that into like where I ultimately left off in my infrastructure career. Like when I stopped working like true IT, I worked at a hospital and I was their mobile device administrator and I was in charge of our security awareness training. Like when I quit working in the IT field, like I was doing all of the infrastructure things that like I was really passionate about doing and I really love doing. I was really starting to get involved in the security side of things. So now in my role here, like it's like all of these great things that I love and I'm extremely passionate about combined. And like you literally I can't beat it. Like I have the best job in my entire life. It feels so weird to say that, but I do. I have the best job. Hey, I was still ASLing in the chat rooms too. Like, let's be real. Like, part of the story that I want to tell, which God, it's so good, but um, the whole reason why I learned how to build websites, again, keep in mind I was 14 years old. Okay, the whole reason why I learned how to build websites is because I got in trouble at home because I was making collect phone calls to girls, because like the whole thing with like the internet back then was like, oh, it's so cool, I get to like you get to be in this chat room and have like your instant messages with people, but like you always like at that time like you just wanted to talk to somebody on the phone, you wanted to call them, like that was the cool thing to do. So like I got in a lot of trouble. I think we had like a $800 or $900 phone bill because I had like collect phone calls, because like we would do like phone chains or what, I forget what, like whatever, like three-way calling and stuff with people who were hundreds of miles away. And back then, like it was really expensive to make phone calls like that, like cross state line or in different area codes and things like that. It was wild. But anyway, I got in a lot of trouble for doing that. Uh, and I got involved with people in AOL chat rooms who were like, hey, we know how to do these things and we can help you get phone cards so that you can call people for free. And I was like, heck yeah. Like I obviously want free phone cards so I can talk to girls for free. So they're like, all right, all you got to do is build this fake AOL page on an Angel Fire website. And they literally showed me how to do this. They walked me through building a fake, which was a phishing page for AOL. And the initial like foothold, like the initially like they gave me an account that they had compromised, an AOL account that they had compromised so that we could spam people. And it was just from like a Visual Basic script, um Virtual Basic, no, Visual Basic, yes. God, so long ago. Anyway, Visual Basic script that would you would just pop into a chat room and then it would spam all of the people in the chat room a message and send them to this fake the social engineered page, right? This phishing page. It looked like an AOL page, but all it was there to do was to collect their credentials and collect credit card info. And then we take that info and buy phone cards. And then I would call people for free. It's not a story that like I've ever really told before, but it's a story that I'm going to build a video around where we talk all of that in detail. But that's how I learned, like I learned about social engineering in 1999, just so that I could make free phone calls to people on the internet. That's so long ago. Yeah, that's social engineering right there at its finest. But like look, like that just if you think about it, right? We're in 2022. That same type of social engineering attack still happens to this day, and people still fall for things like that. Like, that same thing that I did 22 years ago, people still fall for that on the internet. Like, that part of the internet has not changed, and that's scary when you think about it. Like, right now, I could go out and build an exact replica of any single website that exists, register, a domain that looks very similar or contains like that website's like, name in it. And I could start sending that out to people. And I guarantee you, I could probably get some success no matter what that is, whether I'm trying to collect like credentials or some type of like other data, right? Those types of attacks are very, very successful. And it's sad. It's scary. But yeah, we did that stuff in 1999. You figured out how phishing pages worked when you found one on Neopets in 2002. That's crazy. Why is it so difficult to get an IT job? I don't know. What are you finding so difficult about getting an IT job? The story of Zach Hill, from hacker to anti-hacker. I would never call myself a hacker in any way. I was just a young, dumb kid. I was, 14 years old. I was a script kiddie. I will fly that flag all day long. I was a script kiddie. That everything that I did to, fish these people was copied and pasted, right? Like, I made like a few changes here and there. But that was some script kiddie level stuff. Man, it's just so wild that a 14-year-old kid was capable of doing that. And a 14-year-old kid is capable of doing that right now. You know, it's wild. People fall for that stuff. And it was like, I only did that for about 6 months, I think. Before somebody was like, "Hey, the FBI could like come knocking on your door." And I was like, "No way, you're lying." They're like, "No, no, for real, Zach. Like, the FBI, if they find out what you're doing, they will find you." And I was like, "All right." Like, by that time, I think I'd turned 15. And I was like, "I really don't want to go in jail." Like, that sounded terrifying to me. Like, that sounded so scary. So 6 months of doing that, and then I stopped doing that because I was just, yeah. It was fun though. Just calling people for free. But again, like, that's what the internet was about back then. Like, the internet was like a completely different thing. We wanted to talk to people on the phone. So stupid. Is IT difficult for people who can only open the computer? What do you mean by that? The freaking days. Yes, the freaking days. Have I ever been self-employed before? I mean, earning money through your IT skills that I have. So in 2008 was when I started doing consulting. Like, so it was like half on my own and half consulting for an organization. Um, and I did that for about 2.5 years. And then the YouTube channel, this YouTube channel for a couple years, did that for full time, self-employed for, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years as well. You keep asking that same question, and now I'm not going to be answering you at all. How do I? There we go. Ooh, what's this one? Would I consider CompTIA A plus and Ccna the best two general certs to get? If not, what would I add? I mean, those are great certifications for sure. I think the Ccna is like one of the best like certifications that you can have on your resume. It's like one of the most marketable certifications. So it's a fantastic thing to have on your resume. The CompTIA A plus, it's also a great certification just in what it teaches. Um, lot of great foundational information to be learned on the A plus. So I always have to give A plus like credit for that. But yeah, I mean, I think those are great options. Otherwise, like Security Plus would be the only thing that would be a contender there. Graham, what's up, sir? Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. I'm super excited for Deadwood. Are you excited for Deadwood? Because I am super pumped for Deadwood. Like, just be there's I haven't even got to meet all of the team yet. Heath and Steven are the only ones that I've met. So I'm super excited to meet the rest of our team. Like, it's going to be fun. I hope it's going to be fun. I'm sure it will be. Why do entry-level jobs want someone with higher than entry-level skills? Because job descriptions are wish lists, and you have to understand that every single time you read a job description, they are wishing and hoping that they are going to find a candidate that meets every single thing that they're asking for. But, unicorns don't exist, and if and when they do, they are very, very rare, right? So, yeah, every single job description that you're going to read is going to ask for completely ludicrous things sometimes, but as long as you meet like 30-40% of that job description, just apply for it anyway, especially entry level jobs. So silly. Marcus, something about your age. Your age will not make a difference in IT. I have videos about that. I would definitely suggest checking out the last one that I did, which probably wasn't too long ago. Good stuff. Christian, you're only trying to get a help desk job, but nobody will hire you without IT experience, even though you have certifications in help desk, Linux, and network security. Are you getting interviews? If you're getting interviews and you're not landing the job, then it's something that you need to work on with your interview process. I have a video series on that. I would highly suggest like checking that out. Go into my past videos. That can definitely help you out. If you're not even getting to the interview, it's because your resume is probably pretty bad. So work on your resume. And I'm mad that I asked your question because now I'm mad that I answered your question because you asked it 17 times and now you're being blocked. Yeah. This in reference to a previous question. If someone meets every item on a job description, they probably qualify for a better job. 100%. It's being hard to get entry level job in pen testing. What advice is going to give? You just do try hack me. Well, just doing try hack me is not enough to get you a job in pen testing. Like, there's so many different certifications that you could look at. I would highly suggest looking at the PMPT from TCM Security. That is the best option. That's the practical network penetration tester certification. Check that out on the www.tcm-sec.com. You can find it there. That is the most realistic penetration testing certification that is on the market. So check that one out. That can be helpful. That might not be enough, but penetration testing is not an entry level job. There is literally zero things about penetration testing I would consider an entry level in any way whatsoever. Like nothing. And I literally do not care if I sound like a gatekeeper there. Like whatever. If somebody told you that the penetration testing is entry level, they lied to you. They sold you and told you a big fat lie. It can be entry level if you have somebody that's going to if you're going to shadow somebody for like a year, then yeah, sure, that's entry level. That's like an apprenticeship. And that would be fantastic. Like that would be ideal. But like that just does not exist. So what's the difference between computer network and computer science when it comes to a college course? Probably you're asking. I mean, computer network is going to focus more so on infrastructure, where computer science focuses more so on theory and like programming things and that type of stuff, typically. So why the PMPT over something like the CEH? Because the PMPT is the most realistic certification when it comes to penetration testing that's on the market right now. So with the PMPT, that certification, you have 5 days to complete our exam, which is 5 days you have to break into our network. In those 5 days, if you're able to accomplish, what you're tasked to do to break into our network, you can then go to writing your report, which you have 2 days to write a report that says, this is how you broke into our network. These are, things that you can do to remedy these issues. Then once you write your report, you go through a 15-minute debrief, which is a live debrief with one of our staff members, and you walk them through what you did. So not it's like it, you don't see anything like that on the market right now. The OSCP doesn't do that. CEH doesn't do that. Also, OSCP, CEH, they're very much focused on more so on like capture the flag type of scenarios. Like that's kind of a lot of what their training methods are like. And like the CEH, I believe there's a lot of multiple choice they have on one of their exams. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it still does not represent in any way what the things that you would learn in the real world, and how a real world engagement would, like what a real world engagement would entail, right? Like it's very much focused on that, I guess, the real world aspect of things. Where CEH, going back to your question, is not. You're asking the wrong guy. Am I the wrong guy to ask? I could tell you all day the differences between them. Diego, you're starting the PMPT course. Any advice for searching for work for cybersecurity? Get out on the social medias, yo. Get in the Discord. Get in the TCM Discord. There's lots of great advice there. Daniel, so you are doing a legit pen test versus just a test. Yes. It's much more representative of a legitimate pen test than just an exam. Even comparing it, like if we compare it to like the OSCP, Offensive Securities OSCP, that exam is you have 24 hours to complete that exam, which is ridiculous, first of all. But again, that exam more like so represents a capture the flag type style of experience, where when you go through the PMPT, it more so mimics an actual pen test experience. Iced coffee at 5 p.m. Heck yeah, I need all the coffee that I can get. I love coffee. But for example, EU not very, and every company knows about the PMPD. Think it's better to get. I mean, yeah, like Heath, our CEO, will even tell you like the OSCP will help you get an interview, but the PMPT will help you crush the interview, right? And that's very much the case with how you have to look at things nowadays, right? Like our PMPT certification is getting a ton of ground, it's gaining a ton of traction, getting on more and more job descriptions, but it's not to the level of some of the other certifications yet. We're getting there. But and I can't directly speak to how things are in other countries. I can only tell you how things are here in the United States. But it could definitely be more beneficial for you to get something like an OSCP that's more recognizable, especially if that's what they're looking for in your country. As a newbie, what should you focus on just to get your foot in the door? You missed part of what you were saying. What about Dell certifications? I mean, Dell certifications, those are more so focused on like Dell. I know what they are. They're of no value. That's what I would tell you. But things that you should focus on: getting your foot in the door, studying and learning the information on the CompTIA A+ is always a benefit. Learning Active Directory is going to be huge. Learning ticketing systems, those are all things that are going to be very helpful for you getting started. In my opinion, for cloud services, what's used more? I mean, my opinion doesn't matter because I think the facts pretty much say that AWS is used a lot more than Azure. Like AWS is like the king of the cloud currently. So, yeah. And even still, like my opinion does not matter on either one of those. Like they're both fine. There's just a lot more Amazon services being utilized than Azure services. Do I think a master's degree is required to get in the cybersecurity field? No, not necessarily. But I just did a video about getting into cybersecurity, and like it seems like all of the jobs in cybersecurity require a degree. So having, you know, levels of degrees will definitely be helpful. Once the PMPT gets DoD recognized, it'll blow up. Yeah, that'd be nice. Hopefully one day. All right, friends and family. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you have a great night, great weekend. Keep learning stuff, and I hope y'all take it easy.